Off to school this morning. We have school, and then I'm going to the barn. I'm going to train Judy's Money today. Steph's Hope. I trained Tomboy Strong yesterday. Cloudy, kind of a dreary day. I guess it must be remnants of that hurricane that was on the East Coast. Is that correct? Hurricane Aaron. Yeah. A little chilly this morning. 68 degrees. A little overcast. Hopefully no rain today. It certainly looks like rain, but hopefully no rain today. Now the only update for today, for those of you who are good with math, you can tell that I can't make it from the Meadows to Scioto to drive Diosa della Danza. So it was either the reality is I'll likely get fined for it. So it's either pay 2 fines in the Meadows or 1. Roll the dice and plead my case and hopefully only get 1 at Scioto. So Kane Kaufman is on tap for Diosa della Danza if I can't. Well, I know I can't make it. It was just a scheduling error on my part with everything going on. I saw it when it came out, but I didn't follow up with everything that was going on with the traveling. So my bad. Diosa della Danza, Kane will drive tonight in Scioto. I'll stay for Tim Skolt, who's a long shot, and Patrick DePrana. Truthfully speaking, if they would just let me off the hook, I would leave after the 7th and go to Scioto. I just know what they're like at the Meadows. Most tracks, and I don't blame them, they hate when you book off their facility to go drive at another one, and you're going to pay a fine. So we'll see what happens today, but I'll stay to drive Patrick DePrana, and Kane will drive Diosa della Danza. I will be there to drive Aunt Lily later on the card. Now, the 2 late races last night, pretty good races. Obviously a little disappointed. A couple of emails and calls about Peter. So my take on Peter is simple. He's not a stable horse, but he is a horse that's going to win that maiden. He should have probably won last night, but he is improving, I would say. He's got such a slick gait, that horse. I'm torn on him because if he ever chose to be... Can I help you?
We have a horse named Peter.
We do have a horse named Peter. I'm talking about him right now. His name's I'm a Fearless Peter. You won't have to worry about learning his name. He's not going to stay super long, but he's there for right now. You better hurry up. So I'm a Fearless Peter. The sale does close today for preferred. He's a Fearless Peter, yeah. I'm not going to put him in this sale simply because, as I said to my partner Larry today on He's a Fearless Peter, I think he's just not quite good enough, honey. He's good enough to win the class he's in. The problem is that he doesn't put out an honest effort, right? He could have been a winner last night, and instead he got beat for second. He felt like he wanted to get going on that horse on the front end. The horse on the front kind of a little out of gear in the turns. I thought this was my shot. I moved him over, and he gets beat for second. I hate when that happens because it makes me look stupid. Can I help you?
Who was that horse that beat all of the older horses and one was younger and then our horse? Was that the Meadows, I think?
The Meadows. I can't remember now. I'll try and think about that. All right? All right. So, but to me, He's a Fearless Peter is improving and probably can win the maiden. So, listen, I'll be as frank as I can with everybody. He probably brings, 13 to 15,000 online right now on preferred, and that might be generous. If we forego this maiden win, we're leaving 4,000 on the table, maybe 5,000 on the table. Why don't we take that, wait another 2-3 weeks, and stack that on top of what we were going to get for him? He wasn't a super expensive colt anyway. He does got a slick gait, and it is disappointing because he could be a pretty decent horse if he wanted to be. I just get that feeling he could be, but like many animals and humans, he chooses not to. So that's my take on sorry, somebody just messaged me. That's my take on He's a Fearless Peter. I'm going to need in here Mitsubishi. Thank you. That's my take on He's a Fearless Peter as we head into the latter part of August into September. Somebody said, well, why couldn't we race him in one of those cheaper races in Delaware? You mean the fair races? He's not eligible to those. We're going to have to... I'm hopeful that with all the money coming into Ohio and all these American, this is American, all these out-of-state mares coming in. And what I mean by that is better mares are being bred in Ohio because of the program, and it's really watering down some of the other mares in the state. So you're left with being forced into a 3-tier system. Now, they already have a 3-tier system here. It would almost have to be a 4-tier system, and I would lobby for exactly what I said in Ontario. I think we should have the Sire Stakes, the Buckeye, and then a third division in between the Fairs and the Buckeye. I think that should be claimers to keep horses out of. So here's my take on it. You have to give people an opportunity to get some money out to put money back into the yearlings next year. Say you're racing He's a Fearless Peter, right? And you have nowhere to race this horse. He wins the maiden. Can't do in the non-winners of 2. Not good enough for the Buckeye. And not paid into the Fairs right now. Now, we could have remedied that by putting him in the Fairs. But let's say there was a third division that went for $12,000 every week or every 10 days at various tracks all over Ontario, or all over Ohio. Sorry. But that same thing would work in Ontario, quite frankly. 12 to 15 claimer with your allowance. You're somewhere for fillies 100% allowance, which makes it 24 to 30. And for 2-year-old colts, it's 75%. Obviously, which you're up around $26,000 now, $25,500. That's fair money for a He's a Fearless Peter that we paid $16,000 for. And even if you paid more, you still have an opportunity to race him in there, and the claiming tag keeps it consistent. You don't have people dipping down in there to steal money, right? Because what happens is the Sire Stakes gets tough. You drop that 6, 7, 8 colt kind of out of the Sire Stakes into the Buckeye, which makes the Buckeye incredibly tough. And for the horses that are just run-of-the-mill, middle-of-the-road Buckeye horses, they have nowhere to race. You can go to the Fairs, but with so many fair races right now, most of those races go for $3,000, $4,000. It just doesn't seem viable moving forward. I think they should reassess and re-examine how that program, because there is money there. It's not like there's not money there. Of course there is. So how is it best utilized? I think we always have to take care of our grassroots horsemen also, right? Everybody's in such a hurry to make sure their finals go for 300. That's cool. That final for 300, that caters to the 8 biggest horses, and in many cases, the bigger stables in your state or province. You need a way to convince Joe Blow in the middle of Ohio, Ontario, or anywhere else to, here's a place for you to race your horse consistently, good, bad, or otherwise, and then make a little money and put it back into the Ohio, Ontario, whatever you have at Sire Stake program. But you have to have a way to keep that racing at the lower level consistent, and the only way to keep racing consistent is put a tag on them. I'd have no problem putting He's a Fearless Peter in for 15 or 12 and racing him in they used to have those series in Ontario when they had all the slot money. I loved it. It was great. It was called the 10G series. It raced for $10,000 every week. Grand River put it on for one summer, I believe. James wasn't even driving then. We just had a couple of horses together. We raced them in there all the time. It allowed us to put our horses in where they belonged and race against other horses like the ones that we had, with the confidence that they were going to be competitive every single week. May I help you, ma'am?
Why do we sell horses?
Why do we sell horses? That is a wonderful question, Adeline Hope McDonald. So, we get a lot of horses in, and some of them are really good, some of them are good, and some of them aren't so good, right? And maybe sometimes it's not their fault. He's a Fearless Peter chooses to be not the best horse he could be.
No, can I talk about?
Yes, you can.
Why are you selling the ones I liked yesterday, the one that was petting yesterday?
Oh, because he's super slow. Super slow. So pretend we all had a race, right? You and I and Ollie and a couple of horses and a bunch of other horses. That particular horse that you were petting would finish last.
That was whipping. Giddy up.
No, he's a nice horse. He's just not fast enough. So
Don't sell it.
what you need to do is have that base, that foundation, and the only way to keep it consistent, competitive, is to put a tag on it. That's always been my contention, and I don't think that's going to waver. Anyway, that's enough about He's a Fearless Peter and low-end horses. Gaslight Hall raced great. I just wasn't coming first over at the quarter. I knew Aaron was right behind me. Bad enough to beat him. I'm not towing him up into the race. And had I known, I would have just blasted by Kurt. Well, yeah, I would have come. But I just didn't want to be first over just past the quarter pole with Gaslight Hall. It just, no. It's not why he's here. He's here to grow his confidence. And quite frankly, I have a very serious conversation coming up with a number of people. We have some horses that are close to maximizing their win potential and earning potential in those condition races. Now, Gaslight's not one of them. He fits in there for a while. Arrowhead Hanover is. And I like Arrowhead Hanover, but has the Consolation coming up. He has a couple other stake races that he fits. And quite frankly, he's got 8 wins. So I woke up today with a text from Tim saying, we kind of got to race Arrowhead Hanover and the numbers at 12,000. That's the backup class / open on any given week, right? That's the class above where it looks like Money has been racing the last 2 starts, or at least his last start. So, not a big fan of that plan, but we don't have many options. Now, we do have the 45 claimer, non-winners at 10, and Arrowhead Hanover will go for 67,000, which I think is fair money. In Scioto, so that might be a place he's headed his next start before the Consolation of the Sire Stakes, or we can put him up for sale with the idea that he is one of the better Consolation horses. He has trotted in 53 multiple times in his life. I think that Arrowhead Hanover is a nice horse, but transitioning into an open level as a 4-year-old might be possible, but I don't know. I'm not positive. So all these are just weird questions that creep up this time of year. It's the same questions we have every year. Somebody asked about Aunt Lily. Of course, Aunt Lily's heading to Harrisburg. We're not breeding her. She's heading to Harrisburg as a very well-bred Uncle Peter filly with a mark of 54 and $250,000 or so made. She's not. We're not breeding her. She is heading to Harrisburg with Melisandre, with Grand Slam Dio. Those horses are heading. Are you asking a question back there?
Yes. Okay.
Shoot.
Who's picking us up from school?
Who's picking up from school? Mummy is going to have to pick you up from school because I am going to be...
And who's picking Ava up?
I think what will happen is Mummy will pick you up, and then Ava's going to have to wait in the library and finish up her work while Mum goes and gets her. Because we haven't really got Ava on a bus schedule yet.
Did you say that garbage?
Yeah, the garbage thing tips up. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway, that was here. He's a Fearless Peter. Gaslight Hall raced very, very good. That's exactly how I want him driven, exactly how I wanted to drive him. I wish I could have had Aaron in front of me, but if I had had Aaron in front of me, I would have been second over, which would have made me first over into the horse I didn't want to be first over into. So I was happy with the way both races went last night. Peter should have been second, but and could have won, but settled for third and looked better last night. So we'll hang on to him for at least one more sale round. 1 second, honey. Now, just a real quick recap of yesterday. As I said, 3-point blue chip. Until we get him put back together and trotting comfortably, I know this horse. He's going to tell you when he's ready to go. Right now, he's in default mode, right? He's in race mode, but he's not on the top of his game. He'll get there. Degas was fine. I just was not risking it with what we went through the last 2 weeks. She was not racing yesterday with an SAA of 58. I just wasn't doing it. She can race next time. Jolene Hall raced tremendous. Now, I was just about to go through our Barnes statistician was just sending me updates on Kentucky and Ohio. I haven't read through it yet. And that will determine where the next start for Jolene Hall is. But very, very happy with her. I explained the situation with Dune yesterday. A lot of people saying, can James go drive this horse? Can you go drive this horse? Donnie did what he had to do to get the horse into the final yesterday. That was job number 1, right? It's kind of like driving trotters, driving elimination races. Job number 1, keep them trotting. Job number 1, elimination races, get them in the final. Donnie didn't want to leave in case she made a break. He didn't want to be first over early with her. Both were smart decisions. And he at no point was he worried about not making it in the final. And I think that was the most important thing. So rather than saying, and I guess you don't have the context, so you don't know that. I didn't know that. But it was clarified pretty quick after the race. So a good job by Donnie getting her in. These are all cosmetic things that can be easily fixed in a week also. I believe she's going to come up here and have Dr. Latessa go over her for the final. We want her good, obviously. And I'll talk to Donnie, James, about what's going to happen as far as drivers go. As of right now, I don't think James McDonald is going to go to Hastings, Michigan to drive the horse. I know somebody else said, well, didn't Jody say he would? Yeah, I suppose he did. I can ask him if he'd like to go. I mean, it puts me in a tough spot, right? Donnie's done a good job driving the filly all year long, but it's no different than me, right? When it comes to big races, can I drive the horse? Absolutely. But we have to give ourselves every opportunity to win the race also. And I think Donnie, myself, everybody else knows that. So, very appreciative of the job he did yesterday and the job he's done all year. Being critical because he couldn't beat a filly that, as much as we thought Dune was the best, that other filly is a better filly. By looking at her, we beat her once this year and only one time this year, and she's looked great all year long. So, probably a better filly. So all we can hope for is that we draw good and she draws poor, and see how the race turns out after that. Zena Kemp will have the blood work back on her sometime today, but for sure there's something going on there. We'll be able to see exactly what it is. Jailbird Jog was absolutely, I see her, absolutely fantastic yesterday. Last half 53-4, last quarter 26. Not too many times in our lifetime where you can have 2-year-old trotters that can do that. Looks like Money, you saw what happened, right? He just got in a bad spot coming off the car, and looks like Money's a great horse. He's not going to bail you out. You have to drive him like, you have to drive him like he's not a good horse sometimes. And that may sound silly to you, and I don't mean not a good horse, but if you drive him like he's 5 or 6 to 1 in the open, he'll race like he's 4 to 5. But if you drive him like he's 4 to 5, he's not going to bail you out. He's not going to do you any favors. That's just Money. That's how he is. And then, of course, He's a Fearless Peter, as I talked about in depth, and Gaslight Hall. So, a good day yesterday. No, we didn't win any races, but we had a lot of very, very good results.
Any seconds?
Yes. Jolene Hall was 3rd. Jailbird Jog was 2nd. He's a Fearless Peter was 3rd. Gaslight Hall was 2nd. But quite frankly, the only check we missed yesterday was Zena Kemp, and obviously something was up with her. Now on to today. Today is going to be a little stiffer also. Woodmere Betcha looks like she's in just an overnight race in Charlottetown PEI. That's not 9:12 a.m. That would be 9:12 p.m. I'm sure of that. Grand Slam Dio is in today. Again, off 3 weeks. That's a tough spot for her. Rock Shining Star, Patrick DePrana, both have kind of inside-outside chances. Dio Sedella Danza has an outside chance also, and Aunt Lily at 7 to 2. Quite frankly, her and Patrick are our best 2 shots. So we're at school. You're on your way to work. Have a great day. We'll talk to you all very soon.